Welcome back to Tales of the Backmarker. As we said, for episode 2, we actually don't have a lot of sim racing this week for two main reasons. Firstly, I actually haven't been able a chance to get into the sim for very much time at all. Between work, I've had to travel for work, and some just crazy deadlines on things in the last short while, and end of school for the kids, Christmas parties, all that kind of stuff. Just, life's getting in the way of in sim racing. I have had a chance to do some laps in the GT3 Beamer around Red Bull. Didn't do any officials or anything else like that. Just turned the wheel and just sort of gotten, I guess, back into the swing of things a little bit. And did some fun Legends racing with the Locked On Lads boys on the normal end of month Friday night Legends event. However, we do have something a little bit different for you this week, and it actually involves some real, I guess you could call it, racing. Back in April, I competed in the Formula Festival that was held by Ira Felberg and the team over at Aussie Car. Well, technically, Ira is the team. He pretty much runs the whole show, and he does an amazing job of it. And part of that event was actually, by entering, is a chance to win one of two track days or in real laps in a Formula Ford around Sydney Motorsport Park. And as luck would have it, I won one. And as luck would have it, Peter Wilkinson won the other one. So it's now turned into a bit of a Locked On Lads event. So this is really just a showing all of you supporters of Locked On Lads out there what we got up to. So sit back, relax, hopefully enjoy what comes next, but you get to see two of the lads do some real racing, are in some real open wheel Formula Ford cars. So Sydney Motorsport Park is about 45 minutes due west from the Sydney CBD. And that meant for me about a 3-hour or so drive the day before through the Southern Highlands from Canberra. A drive which takes you past two other racetracks actually. The Pheasant Wood circuit based out of Marulan, and also the iconic Wakefield Park, which has held numerous sports car endurance races and track days over the years. Alright, so it's about 20 to 9 on a Friday morning. We're out at Sydney Motorsport Park. We're about to get cracking on what's going to be an awesome morning of doing something that we don't normally get to do. We caught up with Timmy Cornt from Locked On Lads last night, and yeah, it was a good night. We ended up having a few race days and a few red wines, and yeah, I think Wilco's a bit worse for wear than me this morning, so we'll see how that goes. And but look, I think we're just gonna have a ball anyway. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Morning, Wilco.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I don't answer. We're here though. Look at them.
I know.
There's cars and they're making loud noises.
Exactly, and they're probably not loud noises you feel like listening to right
They
now.
don't have wings.
No, I know.
How am I supposed to drive it? They don't look like a skippy.
Yeah.
I never have been successful with these. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There it goes.
There it goes. We've done our driver training, we've done our inductions, we've done a track training. No, we can't really be trained, can we? No. And we've done our, I don't know, our I guess, walk the track and a bit of expert guidance as much as...
This body ain't walking nowhere, mate.
No.
We slumped it in a Ford Ranger, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But no, got some guidance around the track. So how you feel, mate?
Still sore from last night.
Yeah.
But otherwise good.
Okay, all right. Let's see how we go.
The way you whip it, mate.
Yeah? Sideways? Mate, we came through the second corner over the hill at one point, and I was like, alright, and I turned it late, and I was like, held it sideways for like.
Bad van.
Sorry.
He did the same as me. I know. So I'm laughing.
Tommy. You're up. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be over there.
All right. So, this little bit is basically because of the fact we've got to record our debrief after the racing experience on last Friday. So, Wilco, you did some laps around a track in an open wheel car. How did it go? How'd you feel, mate?
I felt very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I squeezed into that thing like a sardine into a can, and I could not move. But as soon as put the foot down, that was the end of it. I had a little bit of issues putting it in. Now, in the brief, they said it's going to be really, really, really hard to find reverse and really easy to find first. Don't worry about it. And I could not find first for the life of me, but I could find reverse easy enough.
Yeah, you and me both.
Once we got started,
Yeah.
it was good. And that foot down to the floor as you're leaving pit exit without hitting the wall. I wasn't the first to do that. Nothing like it. There's very few things like it, that adrenaline rush you get when you rush down that straight for the first time. And then put your foot on the brakes and hope it stops.
Yeah, no, look, I tend to agree. It was, as you and I spoke about, this is the second time I've done it. It was different for me this time, not good or bad. And I think that when you asked me on after the experience, how did it feel?
Brief. We just didn't film it. We just had to over food.
Exactly. We were focused on food and recovery. It felt different, and the reason why I say different was that I think just a bit of background. They put us into different groups, varying on, I guess, height, and I was probably
shorter than me, but you're the same car.
I was basically, and I think I was the shortest. I was probably the shortest one in our group, but probably too tall for the next one down or whatever. Anyway, it meant that the pedal distance from my foot to the front, even with the padding that they put in, felt uncomfortable, which meant I didn't feel like I had proper pedal feel. So, to read out of the book of Braden's excuses, it just did, I didn't feel fully confident committing to either full acceleration or full brake. So I was probably a little bit more conservative than I probably expected to be. But that said, definitely felt better around the track, much more comfortable with what to expect. That said, I found reverse as well.
Yeah, I did. I chuckled at that on the video.
Yeah, I saw that's on the video.
It wasn't at you. It was at the fact that we both did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I love the fact he defended me as well. I was like, you did that too. And he's like, yeah, I know. That's why it's funny.
That's why I'm laughing. And then I forgot the video you going off. It was great.
Yeah, but no, it was an amazing experience, and it was more fun the second time. It was as much fun, if not more fun, the second time round. I guess because I knew what to expect, but didn't go into it acting like it was like, oh yeah, I knew what to do. The guy asked me, he goes, "Oh, have you done anything like this before?" I said, "Yeah, about 2 years ago," and I'm like, which means never. Like I didn't.
Yep.
I think that they'd probably get a few people out there that are, done one or two of these and think they're the next, Schumacher or Max Verstappen, and they're like, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing." And they end up spinning out, and
A fair few spinning out too, I must admit. I didn't think there'd be that many, but there was a lot of people spun and put it in the dirt.
Yeah, there's a lot more than I remember from when I did it last time as well. I think there was a couple of young guns out there that were like being fairly committed. And I could see some parallels between racing something like the Porsche 992 Porsche Cup car and some of the commentary they were saying about things like, maintaining mid-corner speed through a bit of throttle and not, braking in a straight line and accelerating hard in a straight line. That said, I was still trail braking, which I'd probably, if they caught me. Yeah, sorry, Anglo, I didn't mean to do that. But no, yeah, like I was still trail braking a fair bit, just by nature of what we do. So yeah, I think I just felt that it was, I didn't see how you could spin out, and I think it would be, you'd have to be doing something very like real sudden movements and being really like not gentle with the car to kind of really force it to spin.
I went close, and I think it's he asked me the same question he's done it before, and I said, no, I've only ever been in a sim, and he goes, oh, look, this is completely different. I said, I know, that's why.
That's why
I'm here. But, the big hard braking downhill braking area into the hard left-hander, that's where I almost spun. It was nowhere else, and it was the fact of I didn't put the foot on the brake hard enough, and I was carrying too much speed going in. It was only my instincts of staying on the straight line and going deeper into the corner that slowed me down enough to get around it without spinning, and obviously lost all my speed. But that was a mistake on me. But it was close. Like I felt myself heading. I didn't lose traction, but I was definitely heading towards the grass. But yeah, I was able to pull it up, and I think that was the hours I've put into the sim, knowing how to react in that situation a little bit better than I guess someone else who just turns the steering wheel hard and goes off, I guess.
Yeah, you make a good point actually. I think I went into one lap, and I can't tell you which one, where I probably went a bit deeper than I would have thought, and that feeling of like, no, I know how to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
As in, okay, I've clearly understeering here. I'm clearly come into this too hot, so I'm just going to have to commit to the steering the wheel, just take it easy. It'll come round, and it did. And it was like, okay, well, I've just not hit the apex. Oh, well, it is what it is, not panicking and either jamming on the brakes or, doing something silly. And yeah, so I think that if nothing else, the sim definitely helped with that. And it was funny, I reflected back on my first, as I said, my first one, and I felt, I wouldn't say confidence the right word, but I felt that, how do I put this? That I was thinking about different things is probably the best way to do it. Like previously I was like, no, I've got to bring this car home. I'm not going to wreck it. I'm not going to hurt myself. I've got I've got kids to go home to and all that kind of stuff. And that was also back in the mind too. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm not that young and stupid anymore. But I was more looking at the corner and going, okay, this is where I think the apex is. This is where I need to turn. This is how much I need to turn. Okay, next time I go around that corner, I'll brake a bit later, or I'll accelerate a bit earlier, and that was more thinking like that as opposed to just, oh my God, this is quick. Oh my God, this is start. That it was a different mentality. So that was.
It felt like a hot lap session in a practice session where I was pushing. Okay, I broke too hard there. The distance, the biggest slowdown was me moving from throttle to brake, and there was too big a difference there, and I tried to improve on that. But otherwise, yeah, sorry, Anglo, I use the ripple strips a lot. Even though they were outside the lines, they said don't drive outside of your ability, and I was using those ripple strips, especially turn 2 and the S bend. The S bend, I was hitting them hard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was going as close to those cones as I could, and there's the thing you get in the sim where you try and be as far right if you're turning left as you can. You're almost on the paint. Over the back there, underneath the bridge, there's a drop.
Yeah.
There's about a half a wheel drop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's not go that far across. Because this could end really badly. But yeah, look, and that fast sweeping left-hander into then the hardest braking area of the thing, that was really fun. But the most bizarre thing was feeling how fast you're going and thinking, this is amazing how fast it is. And then you get out and watch the cars go around and they look like they're little go-karts just going super slow around the track, and you're like, oh, was I really that slow?
Yeah,
you look at the video and you go, I was that slow. Wow, it felt like 50 times quicker than that.
Yeah, I think it's the acceleration. I think it's not so much. Yeah, it's that top speed. That, and they did say that apparently these things accelerate harder out of a corner than like a GT3 car.
Yep.
And you do feel it in the it kicks you in the back of the pants when it really sort of open it up. But yeah, you do kind of get that feeling, oh yeah, cruising around there. And that back left, like you said, that over that crest and that back left, that corner, there was a couple of times I went around it and you kind of almost, you're not sure whether or not you should just plant it and keep going. Like it's kind of that weird, one of those weird corners that, you feel like
corner. It rewards the guts and going for it and getting the late apex on it. In particular, being able to put that foot down so you lift off a little bit, you go into it, you get the late apex, but your foot's already on the throttle about, don't tell Anglo, but way before the apex, which is a big no-no. But yeah, it really did. It was a risk-reward corner where you could see some people putting some big moves on. I just want to do it again and again and again now, and I want to do it with other cars around me. So, but
well, that's it, right?
Happen.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, look, I guess that comes to the. I guess one of the final questions is, when's the Locked On Lads racing team coming out? Is the the Formula Ford on the cards? Are we getting a Hyundai Excel to thrash around a track anytime soon, or?
I answered someone's question on Facebook, and much to I think my wife's disgust, all I need now is more disposable income and more disposable time, and it was an opportunity. But yeah, look, when that's going to happen, who knows? And I think the Locked On go kart could be potentially down the track, but we'll see where we go. See how much time and money we got.
No, fair enough. I mean, look, I attribute my first experience with Anglo as being my gateway drug into doing sim racing. I remember my wife asked me when I did it for my 40th, she was like, "So you're going to go out and buy a go-kart now?" Because that's exactly what one of my friends did after they did the same experience after that. And I said, no, I'll just buy myself a sim rig. And she kind of looked at me frankly, not sort of weirdly, not knowing what I was talking about. But then I think she now understands what I'm getting at. So,
more expensive than a go kart in the short term, but
probably
in the
long term, probably.
cheap.
Yes, I'm about to say, buying a new car in iRacing is still exceedingly cheaper than buying a new chassis. But no, look, I think in summary, I think it's just a big thank you to IRA and Aussie Car, which is basically IRA, to organising the Festival of Speed to start with, but then also fronting up the cash to actually put a couple of blokes like us through an experience we probably wouldn't have put on our definitely put on our bucket list, but definitely wouldn't have gone out and priority throwing some cash on the table to do on the regular. And I guess a big shout out to Anglo Motorsports too. I mean, that they said that's their racing fleet that they use for New South Wales Championship cars. Now, mind you, they're probably detuned a little bit, I suspect, but nevertheless, if one of those cars gets taken off goes off the course and gets wrecked, it's a car that they've got to repair, right? So, it's one of those things that they're putting their money on the line and their equipment on the line to actually get it to work. So, look, big shout out to them. They're expert tuition. They're the team that they had there. I mean, there was one bloke that we had do the track round with us that runs the 86s. Brock, I think his name was. So look, we're definitely looking out for his name next season. I did overhear that the guy doing they just for I guess information, they run a dual seater. So if you don't want to actually go out and drive the car yourself, you can actually get someone to hot lap in effectively a twin seater. He was an Aussie racing car guy.
Yeah, no, he so he was the current, I think, Australian champion for Formula Ford.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, Lachlan Hart.
Lachlan Hart.
Is his name. Yeah, no, he's got some skill, and that thing sounded like a rocket when he put the foot down.
That thing was
so
angry.
much louder than every other car, and so much quicker. Yeah, no, it was interesting to see. The difference between that car and the normal cars. But yeah, he's an up and coming. He's definitely won a championship, and I'm sure he said it was, if not the New South Wales, but the Australian championship. It might have just been New South Wales, because that seems to be where their focus is. But I mean,
multiple New South Wales championship.
12 in a row, championships in a row. It's a bit ridiculous, but you can see why they've got the setup.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was really awesome, and they do track days at other tracks. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're doing any more at Wakefield, which is a real shame. But I know they were doing. I can't remember the other track that they were going out to, but yeah, I mean they were getting numbers through the door. So no, look, big shout out to them. I guess in summary, what do you think of? Is that your first time at Eastern Creek? What do you think of Eastern Creek?
That was the first time at Eastern Creek. Good track, yeah. The facilities are amazing once you get over to the main section. Like they're top notch stuff, especially being able to sit in some of the boxes and stuff like that. It's got the big hill area that you can sit and watch from. Good looking track and loud. Those V8s flying around pretty quick. Well, on the other half of the track that we weren't on, thank God. But yeah, no, look, it's a great track. It's in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully, it's there for a long time to come, and hopefully, we get it in iRacing sooner or later, because it is a fairly high-end, internationally known track. One that we really need to preserve, just in case. You know how Sydney is growing as it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, right now it's in the middle of an industrial zone, so fingers crossed it'll be around for a while. But you know what happens with those kind of locations. So hopefully it is. Yeah, it's with us for a
I
long time
bought
to
my
come.
house next to a racetrack and now it's loud. Can you please get rid of the racetrack?
Yeah, that's a conversation for a whole nother podcast, I think, Wilco. Yeah. Dumb things done by developers. Anyways, now look, anyway, that's the end of this episode. We'll be back to normal programming on the next one. Wilco, thanks for coming out with me, mate. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to share that experience with you. You know, you and I have done a lot of interesting and crazy shit over the years and in various locales, and it was good to be able to one win that, but two be able to share it amongst the amongst yourself and the Locked On crew. So, yeah, until next time, catch ya.
Yeah.